They say you should travel with someone before you marry them. That's what this trip was for us. In 2018, before we got married, Michelle and I took a trip to Peru. It was our first trip abroad together, and it was kind of the start of everything for us. I did my best to keep a journal during the trip, but there's a ton of detail in the journal that I just couldn't fit into the video. Thursday, June 7, 2018. Michelle and I landed early in the morning yesterday at the airport in Lima. Then we waited several hours for our flight to Cuzco. As soon as we stepped foot out of the Cuzco airport, 3 different taxi drivers started yelling to get our attention, so we pretty much just chose one and negotiated a price, then headed to Puputi Street. Here we found a ride to Pisac, which was about 45 minutes away, in a colectivo, which was like a large van that drives around slowly, yelling out the door, trying to fill up the van before finally departing. We got to Pisac, exhausted but unscathed. The sun sets here very early, around 5 p.m., so we headed straight for our hostel. Exhausted, cold, feeling vulnerable in a foreign country, affected by high altitude, also known as soroche, we pretty much went straight to bed. After sleeping for like 12 hours, we awoke this Thursday morning, market day in Pisac. Around 2 p.m., Michelle and I took a taxi up to the ruins in Pisac. On the way there, we stopped to buy our boleto turistico, which would give us access to 16 different sites and museums throughout the Sacred Valley. The ruins here would be our first glimpse into Incan architecture, which included massive terraces that looked like stairs for giants and stonework with astonishing precision. At 3:30 or so, we pulled ourselves away from the picture taking and started our hike back down to Pisac. The hike took us through another set of ruins known as Pisaca, or Old Town. This place was quite different from the main site of Machu Picchu. Pisaca had much of the same architecture, but there was absolutely no one there. The next day, we woke up early, packed our bags, and ate some breakfast at the hostel. Then we walked about 5 minutes up the street to where the colectivos congregate, and we were quickly picked up. This driver, though, was in a hurry. He was trying to overtake everyone, tailgating everyone, and zooming around every curve. His driving wasn't helping our soroche. All the while, there was this kind old lady sitting next to Michelle, trying to start a conversation, forgetting that she didn't understand her. Once back in Cuzco, this lady insisted on helping us into a taxi to get to our next hostel. We eventually found the place. The location wasn't super close to anything, but it had an amazing view overlooking the city. After dinner, we went up to our room to try to plan for the next day, but Michelle kept falling asleep on me. One thing became clear. It was time to go to bed. The earliest we could pull ourselves out of bed this morning was around 10 a.m. Today was our day to explore the sights around Cuzco. We walked around about 15 minutes and we stopped at a plaza, I believe it's called Plaza Regocio. We sat on a bench so I could look at our map, and out of nowhere, a woman sat next to me, trying to sell me these gourds with stories carved into them and colored with fire. They were really nice, and I was tempted to buy one, but I declined her offers and promised her I'd return, something she'd probably heard before. The famous Plaza de Armas was a block away, so we headed there next. After exchanging some money, we found a cafe. It was a classy yet cozy coffee shop on the second floor overlooking the Plaza de Armas. We watched people taking pictures, dancers in a procession, and a rain shower come and go. When the sun came back out, we paid our bill and then left. Back on the sidewalk, we decided to go to Coricancha, one of the sites included in our boleto turístico. It's a Christian church built on top of some Incan ruins. Our next stop was San Blas district. We walked up this really famous street that starts with the letter H, and at the end of the street, we stopped at the popular Jack's Cafe, where we ordered a BLT and some honey ginger lime tea. Then we continued on to the San Blas Temple. Around the side of it was another market where we browsed and bought some textiles.
Sí, muy bueno. Este es un nombre de un animal muy buena.
La ave con suerte.
Con suerte.
Okay.
El jacaco. Jacaco es quechua.
Oh, ok.
Sí, quechua. No sé cómo se llama en español.
Difícil para pronunciar.
Sí. Esas son las montañas. Las montañas. Esa es una herramienta agrícola donde se puede trabajar en el campo, la chacra y el ojo de la llama.
Okay.
Sí, este es repetido aquí igual. Sí.
Gracias. Muchas gracias.
Yeah.
Next thing we know, it was getting late and we were freezing. Instead of catching a taxi, we decided to walk the 2 kilometers back to the hostel. Sunday, June 10. We woke up as early as we could this day, around 8 a.m. Wanting to make use of our boleto turístico, we walked to this historic museum close by. It was a nice place located in an old mansion. After, we jumped in a cab that took us to Sacsayhuaman for 8 soles. We wandered around the site doing what tourists do, taking pictures, looking and pointing, and enjoying our time off work. Later, we walked over to where these rock slides were supposed to be, but then it started to sprinkle. By the time the rain stopped, the rock slides were all wet, but that didn't stop us from sliding down a few times and feeling like kids again. We strolled around a bit longer, took some more photos, and then went to the exit. Back at the hotel, we needed to pick up our laundry, to eat dinner, and to get ready for our 4-day Inca Trail trek to Machu Picchu. Our guide was supposed to meet us for a pre-trek briefing, but he never showed up, and we thought our adventure was over.